You don't see as many people, and eventually you hardly ever see anyone uh, operating on that level of gift. Remember, I'm just dealing with gift because you can cast out devils and end up in hell, right? And so we're not talking about salvation here. We're talking about when God raised up people to operate on that level, of miracles and all. And so you start to see a diminishing in that. That means the season has changed. The season has changed. And don't misunderstand it that God is inconsistent or anything, but no, God is very consistent. Remember, He's sovereign and He chooses what He wants when He wants to. And there's always a reason why He does what He does and He doesn't do what He doesn't do. It's always a reason that's connected to that. All right, so the gospel, and that was the part that I missed, that in those kinds of seasons, when we see it from a biblical perspective and then even some historical perspectives, uh, in those kind of seasons, God is doing something that wasn't being done as much in the last season. In other words, God is advancing the gospel into His harvest. He's advancing it into His harvest. And when He begins to advance it into His harvest, then God, He's there to confirm it. It's like you might want to call it a season of preaching the gospel. A season of preaching the gospel will be coupled with the signs and the wonders. God confirming the word, the signs follow. Now, the thing is that it's good to capture it like this because the world looks at us and say, where is it? And we don't even have an answer. We say, oh, you just got to believe. It's like reality, it's like that, because the reality is we cannot put up for them. Not that we got to show signs and wonders for the world to believe, but we only agree and say, yeah, the Lord gonna do it, the Lord gonna do it. And but when we understand it, that there are seasons for that. There's seasons. There's seasons when the gospel is going to do great things. Now, remember what the Lord said, and I guess we're going to go there real quick here. Let's go to Luke chapter number 10. Luke 10, starting in verse 1. I want to go there. You always have a number of scriptures, but then it's like sometimes as you're talking and